No more changing stations, you came to the right place. Turn off your televisions, they'll just get in the way. It's time to get to the point on 107.3. Max is on the air with locals only.
Central Kentucky's rock station is 107.3 The Point, locals only. Sunday night, Tom Boone in the studio, and Tom Boone without his back porch pickers. Your back porch pickers are not with you tonight.
No. It's just me, and I'd say Friday night, two of my band members are probably playing with their other bands anyway. So
okay. So tell us a little bit about how the band came together.
Well, I started doing the Hideaway Saloon in Louisville 6.5 years ago. I started out opening for a bluegrass band called Fat Tony and the Bluegrass Mafia.
Sounds interesting.
And they didn't last a long time, so when they broke up, I just took the whole night and was doing every Monday up until this past year. We've dropped down now to where we just do one Monday a month. But guys would come in and ask if they could sit in with me. And so the band members have kind of changed over the years with that, but right now we're settled with the best of the guys that has ever played with me on Monday nights. Jonathan Bramall is the slide player, and he came in. He's a real young guy. He's I guess you'd call him a prodigy because he plays dobro with me, plays electric slide with his band Vessel, and he's just he also does the Dwayne Allman parts in a band called the Almanacs and Allman Brothers cover band. Steve Sturgill came in and actually started playing bass when he first started because we didn't have a bass player. Mm-hmm. So he played bass for a while. Then he brought his keyboards in, and keyboards didn't really work with what we do so much. Right. So then he bought him a Martin guitar. Now he does acoustic guitar and is a great guitar player, perfectionist. So then we just got a new bass player. I had an electric bass player, and we really felt like the band doing what we do, we needed an upright bass.
Right,
now we have an upright bass player, Alex Herman, who also has Herman's Taxi Service, which mainly services people who get too drunk to drive.
Well, that's good. People need to ride home.
I was told when I first started playing up there, if anytime I needed to ride home, call Herman.
There you go.
So far, I've not needed that, thank goodness. But
so tell us a little bit about your influences growing up. What got you to start playing?
Well, I started out in the early 70s playing guitar. Neil Young, I liked the Allman Brothers. Jackson Browne was a big favorite. Mm-hmm. And as the years went on, I kind of got away from really electric music and started listening to some bluegrass, but I was never really a fan of traditional bluegrass. I started listening to Sam Bush and just got blown away. To me, Sam Bush and those guys, Jerry Douglas, they were the epitome of acoustic music. Mm-hmm. Sam does everything from traditional bluegrass to blues and reggae, and that really played a big influence on me because I didn't really, like I say, I don't like to just listen to one kind of music. I just like good music, and Sam he plays it all. So I listen to a lot of Sam Bush.
Okay. Your Wheels Are Rolling. Tell me a little bit about this track.
Well, there used to be this guy at Lebanon Junction who was kind of a hermit, and he would make a little stop at the liquor store when he left his shack in the woods and come to town and kind of entertain people.
Okay.
Specifically, he would stand on the railroad tracks and flag people and holler at them saying, hey, your wheels are rolling. So, when he'd get get kind of lit up. You know, he was going to be on those railroad tracks and he'd be hollering, but he had all these little sayings that he'd come up to people, and I've got some of those in the song.
I think I've seen that guy somewhere.
You probably,
I've been through Lebanon Junction.
Through Lebanon Junction. He died somewhere in the mid 2000s.
Okay.
Anytime, but through the 90s, the 80s and the 90s, he was there all the time. Anyway, it'll come out in the song, his little story.
Little story.
Yeah, they came from Louisville, WHS, and did a little piece on him, and they walked up to his shack in the woods, and there was something cooking. They said, "What you got cooking, John?" He said, "That's a possum."
Hey, whatever floats your boat, man. Tell you what.
Yeah.
Lots of those around.
Right.
They're plenty.
In Louisville, he'd be called a wino, probably.
Yeah.
You know, but he lived off the land, and you know, he wasn't on welfare or anything like that. He just didn't want to live like everybody else.
Yeah. Your wheels are rolling. It's Tom Boone here on Sunday night. Locals only, 107.3 The Point.
Cooked him up some possum and they put him on
dry. Tobacco juice upon his chin and a twinkle in his eye. Oh, John, tell him so, you're grinning ear to ear. And when you cross that railroad track, you'll turn around to here.
Central Kentucky's rock station 107.3 The Point, locals only Sunday night. Tom Boone in the studio, and the tune Your Wheels Are Rolling. And a lot of your music, is it influenced out of you living in Kentucky?
Oh, yes. I do one song about my mother growing up out in central Kentucky during the Depression. And I had always, you just assume that if it was a Depression, there was no money, and the life back then, they didn't have electricity, they didn't have indoor plumbing. And actually, the house on the CD, that's where my mother grew up, over in near Frederickstown, Kentucky. Over there, it's called the Berg. But
Okay.
That influenced that area, and the way I grew up in really has influenced my music, and I love to sing about it. There's a couple of songs I do, Old Time Ways, which I think we're going to hear in a little bit. There's a line in that says, we go to the country every other weekend to the lovingest people you could ever befriend, because in the 50s, a lot of those people didn't have telephones, and we would just show up. We never called ahead, and people would just act like they hadn't seen you for a year or something, and just love you to death. Mm-hmm. And you were, it was an insult if you didn't stay for supper, So wherever we'd go to the country, sometimes they'd kill a chicken for us, Yeah. My first experience with fresh chicken was walking out to the chicken house with my aunt, and her getting the axe and cutting the chicken's head off. And for, I don't remember how old I was, but it was quite shocking.
It is, because it was still running around, wasn't it?
Right, exactly.
This was
Yeah, I didn't know if I wanted to eat any more chicken or not. But, those are the kind of things that have influenced my life, and it influences my music.
When they fried up like that, ain't gonna matter, is it? When they fried up good and a good
and they were
pan,
great.
and
all those people were great cooks too.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So a lot of influence out of living in Kentucky. Of course, you grew up in Kentucky,
right?
And grew up in Kentucky, in central Kentucky. And what do you think in music today is missing out of country and bluegrass music? And that's going to be.
Well, it seemed like to me that country, a lot of people try to sound like somebody else. They try to have a certain sound that I don't know how to describe it, but
there's a pop quality or a polish.
Exactly. Everybody's trying to sound like the Stars or something. I don't know how to describe it, but
I think it's like a songwriting.
A lot of it sounds the same, and that's what the record companies are looking for. They're looking for songs that's going to make money, and they're not so much about statements or anything. So that's where I saw country music come from and where it went, where it is now.
Sure.
So, and I kind of hate seeing some younger people that I know, and they're trying to emulate that, and they're not trying to do their own thing. They're trying to sound like somebody that's on
it has
the
to be
radio.
from the heart. If you're playing music, it has to be from the heart. That's the point being. And there's just, hey, I can go copy this person and it'll sound great and it'll sound like something that can be on the radio, and that's not necessarily where you need to be, because if you get on the radio, normally it's a change. It seems like it's a change in trend, or you're doing something different. It's not that you're doing something in the same that somebody else has done in the past, at least in the rock genre.
The thing in any kind of music is there are certain artists out there that as soon as they start to play, if you've never heard a song, this certain song before, as soon as you start to hear it, you know it's that person because they have a certain sound. You know, Eric Clapton, you can pick Eric Clapton out. If he's playing with somebody else, he's got a certain style. He's Eric Clapton. And, you know, the Rolling Stones, years ago when I used to listen to the Stones a lot, you know, you could hear a song on the radio you hadn't heard before, and you automatically, you know, that's a Rolling Stones because they had that sound.
Right.
And I think for people, the younger kids coming up in music, be yourself. You know, when you write a song, write what comes out. Don't try to sound like somebody else.
Yeah, they got to have their own style.
Be who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, Old Time Ways. This is about growing up in Central Kentucky. And it's Tom Boone, the Back Porch Pickers, right here on Locals Only, 107.3 The Point.
I grew up in a city where the streets were mean, but I never really wanted to make that scene. We go to the country every other weekend, to the lovingest people you could ever befriend. I knew back then I was never gonna stay. Get back to the old time way. Let the kids run free, let the dog run wild. There ain't nothing better than a freeborn child. Head out to the garden just to pick a mess of greens. The birds and the bees, the dogs and the trees. You need some advice that'll make your day. You ought to get back to the old time way. Screaming, it's not the kind of life my kids were leading. I knew back then I was never gonna stay. Had to get back to the old time way. Let the kids run free, let the dog run wild. There ain't nothing better than a freeborn child. Head out to the garden just to pick a mess of greens. Got the birds and the bees, the dogwood trees. You need some advice that'll make your day. You ought to get back to the old time way. Satisfaction when you work that hard. You turn and look back at the end of the day. You'll be glad you went back to the old time way. Let the kids run free, let the dog run wild. There ain't nothing better than a freeborn child. Head out to the garden just to pick a mess of greens. Got the birds and the bees, the dogwood trees. You need some advice that'll make your day. You ought to get back to the old time way. You ought to get back to the old time way. You ought to get back to the old time way.
Central Kentucky's rock station, 107.3 The Point. Old Time Ways. Tom Boone and the Back Porch Pickers. And you guys got a website they can check you out at?
Yeah. We've got a Reverb Nation site, Tom Boone and the Back Porch Pickers, and then we also have a Facebook page, Tom Boone and the Back Porch Pickers. I'm on Facebook as just Tom Boone, and I do a lot of my promoting from just my personal site on Facebook. Then we've got some shows coming up here. We're kind of blank for the next week. At the end of the month, we're doing Art for the Hungry. at a collaboratory for social innovation at 1741 Frankfurt Avenue. That is November 30th. There's a lot of really great local bands playing there. Danny Flanagan for one. Kim Weber with Three on the Floor will be there from the E-Town area. And that is 12 to 6 that Saturday afternoon. Then we will be at Little Rick's in Lebanon Junction on Friday, December the 6th. That's an 8 o'clock show. We've been doing the Hideaway, as I said, for 6.5 years now. I've got the Hideaway with the Back Porch Pickers on 12...
December?
I can't read my own writing.
December what? That would be December 2nd, maybe? Is it the 2nd?
It's the first. It'll be the second Monday of December.
That would be the 9th then.
Yeah.
Looking at the calendar. Yeah. I'm trying to read the calendar across the room because
Yes,
mine's
that would be
on
right.
November.
Monday, December the 9th, the Hideaway Saloon. And that is a 10 to 2 show. That's a hard one for a lot of people to make, but we do get good crowds in there late night like that. And then December the 3rd, which is a Tuesday, I'm also in a band called Canticle of Three. It's me, Tom Browning of the Pranksters, and J.D. Michaels of J.D. Michaels Band. We do kind of a Crosby, Still, Nash thing.
Okay.
Then we just play each other's original songs, throw in a cover or two, and that is December the 3rd. So that's what I got right now. Things just pop up. So keep an eye on our website. Like I say, I keep my shows on Reverb Nation. And
then if they want to book you for a show, they can go to your Facebook or the Reverb Nation.
there you
right,
go.
There you go.
We've not done any shows in Elizabethtown. I would like to get started doing some shows over here. If anybody's interested in booking us, you can go to the Reverb Nation site. There is actually a press kit there. So if you leave me an email address, I can email you our press kits. We would be tickled to death to get some shows in Elizabethtown.
And I know there's some transition going on and some things going on, with venues in Elizabethtown in this area right now. So, and it being in the colder months, so I would expect maybe even some new places open up as we hit the beginning of the year. Never
Right.
So
Right.
with it being the holiday season now, I would kind of expect.
I'm kind of waiting to see what prospers here as
Yeah.
far as music venues. So we'd hopefully get some shows here.
Yeah, and hopefully have some more outdoor stuff in the following year. Look forward to having some more music downtown in the next year. I think that's done really well for the downtown in the past year. So I hope to see more stuff like that. This tune you recorded in the studio, so they recorded in my studio.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about the song "Life Is Like a Book."
Well, that was one of those songs that just the idea popped in my head, and I happened to be where I could write it down, and it flowed out. It probably didn't take 45 minutes to write that song.
Okay.
And that's unusual. Most of the time I'll get started on something and then come back to it. A lot of times I've come back to songs that I wrote, maybe started writing a year earlier, and then come back to it, and all of a sudden everything falls together on it, And I have took songs that maybe I had a chord progression and it didn't work on one song, so I just kind of kept it
Right.
to the side and then wrote another song, and it was perfect for that chord progression. So for me, I never know how they're going to come together, and I have woke up in the middle of the night, run upstairs to the computer and just throw it out there. And,
Yeah.
But
Does it normally come out of thinking about lyrics, or does it normally come out of the chord progression?
A little of both.
A little of both.
I've had it go both
Either way,
ways.
so sometimes it's just, hey, I got an idea for this song, and then, oh, well, maybe
Right.
I got this that didn't work with this song.
Right.
Okay. Thanks for coming in, Tom.
Well, it's my pleasure. It's anytime we can promote our music, we're going to jump on it. So.
And tell us a little bit about promoting your music. We were talking about this beforehand, but we haven't talked about the KET stuff you're doing.
Oh yeah, we've just filmed for Tim Farmer's Homemade Jam. That is shot in the UK Medical Center Auditorium. It's a great venue. My banjo players played all over the place, and everybody in the band said this is the most impressive sound we've ever played in for acoustics. And, but that's going to be sometime in December or February, or January rather, and they're supposed to let me know, with Christmas coming on, they're going to do some things with some Christmas music, so it might be January before they put us out there. But just watch for on KET, Tim Farmer's Homemade Jam, and then we're looking at getting a Kentucky Homefront show. There's nothing in the works yet, but I've been told that they want us, so...
Now, with the Tim Farmer stuff, did you get a DVD or a recording of any of that stuff that you did there?
It's supposed to get come. We just recorded it this past Sunday. So
okay.
It's they told me they would be sending me the clips from it.
Yeah.
So, and when I get them, I'll post them.
Okay.
On my Facebook page and the Back Porch Pickers pages. So
okay, it'll
be there.
All right. Well, let's check out Life is Like a Book. Tom, thanks for coming in again. It is locals only. 107.3 The Point.
Rolling again.
Life is like a book with a thick old plot. You've got to turn every page whether you like it or not. Sometimes the story thickens and you don't want to stop, but then you come to the part where your heart just drops. You can't rip out the pages or rewrite the book, and when it comes to the ending, you're not allowed to look. I've been reading my book now for so many years. I've read through adventures and I've read through tears. Read about a woman whose life I cast. Read about two children who grew up too fast. Read about some people who grew old and gray. I read about some no longer with us today. So when you read your book, don't you read it too fast. Take your time and study so the meaning will last. Maybe someone else can find some meaning in it too. They can come sit down beside you and read it with you. You can read your books together till your soul shines through. Hope by that final chapter you've done all you can do. Life is like a book with a thick old plot. You've got to turn every page whether you like it or not. Sometimes the story thickens and you don't want to stop, but then you come to the part where your heart just drops. You can't rip out the pages or rewrite the book, and when it comes to the ending, you're not allowed to look.